trying to take B right now. They have some air support in here. It's down to 6 minutes, or I guess they're
the
capping it
outpop,
max.
and yeah, we did see that 30 seconds. It was close.
They do finally, however, own all of the Central Mountain, which was obviously their goal from the beginning. I'm not entirely sure at what cost that is.
Well, the real question is, do they want to push and go further and try and get the Bastion? That's the real tricky one. Or do they just want to keep hold of, collectively, what's known as Skull Bleak Mountain?
The Bastion is such a grind, and it takes so long to cap. Even without anyone opposing you, it takes 7 minutes, and there's no way they're not going to oppose you.
You would rather go for smaller or more, advantageous bases, because at the end of the day, territory percentage is the same. It doesn't matter what the base is.
Why wouldn't you go for the tech plant, for instance? It's still 7 minutes, but it's only 1 point you gotta hold. Speaking of the tech plant, I am down at Tumas Cargo Facility. Once everything.
Do you know who EXES is?
EXE is execution. That is EXE.
So they've got their squad of 12 flanking from the west. Looks like they're trying to push themselves to the Alpha capture point. Bravo capture point, however, is being flipped by Emerald. This is interesting. Oh no, it was. But it was just an infiltrator. I can see him on the mini-map just to the west side. So following EX again. Looks like Connery's Air Force is turned up as well, just to help suppress the A point.
They were so busy shooting tanks and other people coming in at Tumas Cargo Facility, they didn't. Connery did not notice a small group of infantry dropping on the point behind them, and now they have to do kick them off the point again.
This is at Tumas Cargo, yes?
Yes, Tumas Cargo. It's getting cleaned up as we speak right now. That Sungray amp station, they dropped a lot of people on that amp station to make sure they protect it. This is one of those ways you wonder what else, are they going to lose anything else because they did that?
Well, Emerald has harasser force, and I'm not certain what they're in their Crux headquarters. And if I can see the AZZ, and
okay.
I'm not sure what a harasser force is going to do against overwhelming air power.
I don't know. I assume AZZ is Azure Twilight. I don't honestly know. Their tag would normally be AT, but that's my best guess.
But it looks like they're like their harassers.
Tumas Cargo just turned into a much bigger problem for Connery.
Which base?
They now have... this is Tumas Cargo. This is ARC again. And they just brought a Sunder up onto the point. They have at least, I'd say probably 2 squads
yes.
defending the
Very
point.
creative driving at the stairs.
And we see a Mag Rider, anti-armor Mag Rider. Multiple Sunders have come in here.
It's a very large armor force. The minimap is just full of
Yes.
emerald ground. And the population numbers 60 to 40? So it looks like the Connery force is all stuck at their bridge.
Connery also looks like they're back down in the far, far south trying to take... I'll tell you the base name here in a moment to get over to it. Iraq's Chemical Corps again. We brought a lot more people this time, and I have yet to see... There is no redeploy yet from Emerald, but we saw this just a few moments ago. Connery has gotten a little bit creative here with some of their Sunders. They're trying to get them right in between the spawns, and that, he just drove off for some reason. That was a great hold-on spot.
Oh, I think this is pushing coming now from Connery. Or at least this is the attempted push to get back to the capture point in Tumas Cargo. With 40 seconds to go, I mean, they are being farmed by PPA. Double PPA from Harasser and from Mag Rider. This Harasser, man. Wow, worth his weight in gold. You just totally stalled the tier push.
TR, it's down to almost 30 seconds, and I see no one coming down here to Airmax Chemical Corps. Certainly not enough to kick them off the point yet. This might be a free base for Connery.
Oh, I got directive update. So that's ARC, probably being the dominant outfit at least, taking Tumas Cargo Facility. In the south, you think the TR is going to get a free cap for Connery, yes? Well, how much time is left?
Just,
50 seconds.
Hold on. It was just a huge redeploy. As I was looking at my map, of course, I missed this.
That is a lot of tank
And
mines on the
they
Alpha
just-
capture point.
They just utterly wiped. I wasn't paying any attention to that. Unfortunately, that's how quickly that happens right there. With, I don't know, I think that was under 20 seconds to go. Emerald just redeployed a massive number of troops. There's far too many for me to count.
Yeah.
And kicked Connery off the point
Well,
again.
you just look at the population numbers and it's 80 to 20.
So this
Oh,
is
in the north,
this is the game
Sungri
they
Power
play.
Hub. Is it saved, right? Yes, so the TR saved that. The small fight at Bastion, I think it's really just to keep Lithcorp Central safe. So right now, if we look at the percentage numbers, it's 53 to 45. So Emerald is slightly in the lead. They've just taken Tomb's cargo facility and they've just saved Arax, or Aramax Chemical Co. Right. So Emerald's now in the lead. What do you do now? I mean, how does Connery get back into this? I mean, they could go for Araxicom Network Hub. That's a quote marks easy base. Sungri West Gate, that's relatively fine. Maybe Moss Ridge is kind of tricky the way you go into it.
One of
so I mean,
the
there
problems right
yeah?
now is that they are being threatened at a major facility up north, Sungray Amp Station. If they had kept it at the bases just outside the Amp Station, they could have played the redeploy game and hopped back and forth and not worried about it. But the Amp Station falls so quickly if you have all 3 points that they have to dedicate a large number of their forces up there. So really, they need to get themselves some breathing room on that Amp Station and then push south. They need to threaten their tech plant or try and push up that lane to Wakuk Amp Station. Do something. They got what they wanted. They got the middle of the map. They spent so long and so much time trying to get those middle 3 bases. They now need to use that to go get other bases somewhere else.
Well, Zaps from Emerald, or at least that's what their outfit tag is driving Asunder onto the Alpha capture point of Lithcorp Central, and they've started themselves, and NNG and QC have started themselves cap on the point. So they've safeguarded Bastion again, and they're trying to take Lithcorp Central.
B point at Sungray Amp Station is well locked down here by Emerald. I'm trying to see who this is. F157. I assume that's like a fist or something. I'll have to see who that is. But they're trying to hold down B right now, getting massacred by AV grenades as I speak. B, it's possible it might be getting wiped up here.
Connery force nowhere to be seen at the moment in Lithcorp Central, and Emerald has pushed their forces up not to the capture point but actually to the spawn door. They've got some air force as well camping the spawn exits, the 2 buildings. So I just saw a broadcast chat. The Sunderer from Zaps, who drove to the capture point, forgot to cert into AMS. So he's just a double bulldog with a PPA harasser at the moment backing him up.
Well, we definitely didn't know who that person was. That is.
let me look at that. Let's see
That's
who it is.
anti-Bob right there.
VS
That's anti-Bob.
735, right? Let me figure that is.
Sungray Amp Station was finally cleaned up here. That was Bade, who I saw pushing the B. I don't know who else was here. Again, though, they're having to play with this. Okay, they finally have people forward at Sungray Westgate. If they can manage to get Sungray Westgate, it gives them some breathing room. It means that they're not just having to constantly go back and deal with the Amp Station.
The Connery force has spawned in. There's quite a lot of them now. I think they actually outnumber by some degree, or easily outnumber the Banu force from Emerald, and they're slowly making their next bold push onto the capture point. It's just a wave of red coming over the hills.
Why don't you go ahead and give a call out to exactly how much time there is?
We have... yes, I need to reset that button up for a second. I've got all calls over now.
While you were doing that, the VS have moved a very large force into Araxis Firearms Corps, which is one of the large bases that defends Connery south here. They have brought in several Sunderers. They have parked one, it looks like, in the A point here, and are setting up for a long hold. This is going to take a pretty big resecure from Connery to get them out of here. They have, it looks like, 48 to 96 people on Araxis Firearms.
Alright, we're ready. I'll just give a quick call out. There we go. Call.
And So yeah, Araxis Firearms is definitely under threat, and Lithcorp, even with the population, they still have not managed to resecure the point yet. They're right at it. I see Zaps, I see Bellum Eternus here. Just massive explosions, tons of res grenades and explosions. They still have not gotten Emerald off the point. This is shocking. They have people, a firing squad in every possible
It'll be the res
direction.
grenades and whatnot keeping people in the fight. Once consumables run out, the pressure from the Connery you think is enough, although they've got the Air Force. I'd be very surprised if Emerald takes this. Are they coming in from behind, or how about the high ground?
Under a minute yet, and I do not see enough of the Connery force pushing down to this point.
Wow, they've been repelled. They're on the roof right now. They're reaching that point where you'll see the last gasp push.
I mean, Connery's dropping light assaults down, the C4 trying
Points partially flipping. Just one LA was trying to do something. You need to get back on point, son.
I think they're finally trickling enough people down.
Yeah, the light assaults have come in and they've managed to grab the point.
That was desperation.
Close. Unnecessarily close.
And that right there shows you this is not a completely open cap point base, but certainly you would think these guys would be utterly vulnerable to air, and there's still more Connery people dropping in here just to make sure. But kudos to that was Zaps, and I don't know who else who was doing that point hold. They held out far, far longer than they ever should have there.
What is this chap doing over here? Oh wow, there's a huge spawn in from from Emerald. Emerald just spawned in to the east of the cap point at Lithcorp Central. They've got a Sundra in like what can only be described as a Death Valley. And a whole bunch of Emerald decided to spawn in. Even killed some maxes. That's a waste of resources, I think, because it's a long run to the capture point. The thing is, you have to run along this trough, and unless you go up to the spawn room, you can't actually get up on this section unless you're a light assault to get to the capture point.
Still, no one has managed to come back and retake a point at Lithcorp Central. I wonder if Connery is just going to let them capture this down a little way. There are some people harassing. This is Dread Legion on the roof of 8 Point. They don't seem to be making a huge push down to the point. They're just kind of being an annoyance up there. They don't have enough people necessarily.
Sundra is dead. We've got a reasonable force of people staying as a group. They are trying to push back on the capture point, but there's more reinforcements coming from off. They're being picked off from the top, from above, by the Connery forces. Such a disadvantaged position in that they've got enemy beneath and above them.
I'm heading back up to the Sunray lane to take a look at it here.
I'm gonna check out firearms. Firearms, all 3 points in hand of Emerald. This is interesting. This is a large base. This is going to dominate the south. If Emerald can get their hands on this, they have a very firm grip on the game.
Yeah, that completely cuts off. I mean, that really just negates everything that Connery did to get the center, because now they would be cut off from the center.
I mean, is the way the resource system works at the moment, that's not crucially or game breaking, but it does mean that by holding Araxis Farms Corp, the Emerald Force can attack in 3 different directions. It is a vital linchpin, to Connery's defense, for their options of defending their territory and being able to freely move.
This area is restricted area immediately.
So Emerald has dropped another large force on the B point at Sungray Amp Station. They obviously wiped them off of the connector and have come back here. I would say it's at least 24 people at B. There are several defenders here from Connery. I'm trying to see who's pushing in. Let's see who the outfit. I'm going to guess this is maybe Division. This is usually who's up here.
So No Nonsense Gamers and
Yeah,
Rye,
this is Division again.
they're on the capture point. They've got Sunders on the capture point, Cobalt and Bulldog gun setups, and double Basilis for the one and a Walker. And right now Connery's trying to make a big push on A as far as the spawn populations are concerned, and these vehicles are definitely holding them back. Here comes the big push. If you look at the minimap, that's a very large number of Connery, and they're deciding to make the push now, but this one capture point isn't going to be enough.
I'm also heading down to Barrack Electrical here, which is also going down. I'm trying to see who's defending and who's on the point here from the inside.
Connery's managed to get themselves their alpha capture point back, and looks like they're flipping the Bravo point as well, and then also the Charlie point. So it was close by, reasonably close by Emerald, but I guess ultimately Connery just let them have it as much as they were willing to, allow, and then it was never in threat with the redeploy.
There are only 2 people on the point here at Barrack Electrical Station, and they are absolutely wrecking face. I have seen them take on the trickling crowd that keeps on coming after them. They have not been pushed out by a massive force. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no, there's just trickling in, people poking their face around the corner one at a time and getting wrecked.
I always forget the way to get in here. Are they on the capture point?
They are on the capture point, yeah. I don't want to spot them, so I don't know what outfit they're from yet. It's Wybach who keeps on trying to push them out. Okay, here comes a large
VCO. Double VCO. Oh, infiltrator from the back. It's always from the back.
So they stayed there a lot longer than they should have. If the people who had been pushing in came together as a group, they would not have been able to be picking them off at the corner like that.
How many TR redeployed to stop that though? 12, 24?
It looks like a squad, maybe.
A little bit over a squad? Yeah, just to stop 2 guys? Yeah, I tell you what, if there's enough kind of elements in the lane and you want to be that kind of harassing force and kind of tie down a bunch of forces, go for it.
The problem with Connery's tactic right now of letting them cap bases down is Connery has to be aggressive. Connery needs to be the one pushing forward and taking territory if they want to even this out or win.
Right, so go ahead, sorry.
No, and if you're allowing them to capture a base down, you have to wait through that capture back again. You can't push forward immediately. You've given up 4 minutes or something that you now have to wait before you can go anywhere.
Exactly, and the problem is, as you said, also if they allow them to have time, they're always putting out fires at the last second. Because if we look at the map, I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 Connery bases under contention, either being saved or being captured, and only 1 Emerald base that's under contention. So, if we're being clear here, Connery is definitely on the back foot, having to constantly juggle where to go, when to send people to save their bases, and even if they make a save, they then have to wait, as you said rightly, a good number of minutes before they can then even decide to counterattack.
Sungray Amp Station was just saved. It looks like they just hopped those people over to Crux headquarters, is what it looks like to me. And they're playing, hop via spawns. And okay, we'll make Connery come get us here. We'll make Connery come get us here. It's working very, very well for Emerald right now.
And again, we were seeing this earlier. As far as the air game is concerned, we can see that Connery is keeping the air, and to show the air game, perhaps, I see that the vehicles that are surrounding Crux headquarters are Skyguards and Sunderers.
And
from Emerald.
Finally, this is the first time I have seen Connery start to try and use its air. I mean, they might have done it before, but I haven't seen it. We have some air trying to take out a Sunderer, and perhaps it's Skyguard right next to it. But not very many of them, just a small group, maybe half a squad of them, tasked down here to come deal with this. And they have not yet managed to take out that Sunderer. Okay, well, the lightning just disappeared. This is Phoenix Battalion, who is at Crux headquarters, or at least it's their Sunderer. And that Sunderer has somehow still managed to stay alive.
Well, deployment Sunderers are really tough to kill.
He
yourself.
He doesn't have a shield right now. But this is totally different than what we usually see from Connery. We're used to that death ball 48 people in one massive group all hitting the same target at once, and that's devastating. They don't seem to be doing that right now. I don't know if they're spread out.
For all the vehicles, however, they only have one capture point.
Yes, they are down to A here. Oh, I'm sorry, they're down to B, and they are taking A back.
Taking A back, yeah. Well, A is the... the numbers are roughly 50-50.
I'm heading back down to Barrack, which... Oh, I saw my first Valkyrie,
Valkyrie?
and I think he just died. He just...
Yeah. All the Valkyries I've seen have either flying around trying to do something and dying, or just getting from A to B, then dropping out and then dying instantly.
I think the Valk has become our new harasser. We used to make... Oh,
hey,
look,
we
there's a
see harassers plenty by Bush and EZZ.
So Wybach and another outfit are trying to push people off of Barrack Electrical Station. It's right here for the big push. A lot of them just got killed by a couple of grenades or C4. This is a huge choke point. It's so easy for Emerald to just hold them at those corners. Under a minute here. And there is this is TDFN, it looks like, from Emerald trying to do this hold. They are outpop, but they are doing an excellent job of holding them at the stairwell. EXE and Wybach look like they're finally down around the corner. They just need to push everyone through and get res grenades out to them. It's down to 30 seconds.
Imminent success is all but assured.
This is just a slow push of attrition. Man, they losing
with
a lot
12
of
seconds though, they really are leaving it late.
They haven't killed everyone yet. They haven't. Oh, the point is flipping, but they got to get it all the way here.
No, that's it. The res grenades aren't enough. It takes too long to get back up.
There was an absolute massacre at the northeast corner that I was at. They tried to push through, and I don't know, that was at least a squad that got mowed down right there. So here again, that they didn't cap the base. Emerald didn't cap the base, but it's 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes that Connery has to sit here, unable to move forward.
Well, they're still capturing Crux headquarters. Moss Ravine looks like it's been stopped and saved. Sungri Amp Station is not really moving anywhere, and Lithcorp Central is being contested again, which we're about to go warp speed to.
I think you can see it from their play. Connery is on a reactive force right now. They need to become proactive. They need to say, all right, guys, as soon as this is locked down and moving our forces, we're taking this base, whether it's the south, whether if it's up in the north. They need to start getting their platoons and their squads together and saying, this is going to be our push. We need to gather up and to do that, or else they're just going to play the rest of the match reacting to everything else that Emerald is doing. Here at Crux headquarters, and there is a decent little force of Emerald that is dug in and around C. They have 2 Sunders, and this is TAS, looks like, which I believe is the Ascended, if I read their thing right.
We're following Lithcorp Central at the moment on screen, and Connery has got themselves in a pickle here because they've 40 seconds to go, and Emerald has got himself a very strong hold on the capture point. I don't see any way that Connery's going to get this unless it's an extremely last second ditch, even more last second than the last one in flight assaults.
And this is kind of surprising. Usually when we've seen servers that have used redeploy side to their advantage, when they're the ones who are constantly having to hop large numbers around to save bases, they're the ones who are easily exploited. They can only save one base at a time and people are attacking them. It's exactly the opposite right now. Emerald is managing to use their forces to attack multiple locations and still redeploy people in to save.
They've lost Lithcorp Central, and they're still being lost, pressure apply elsewhere. So this attacking force that's taking Lithcorp Central could hypothetically go to Crux headquarters and reinforce. I'd like to see that, because normally we see massive redeployments for saves. I'd like to see massive redeployments for captures. It seems to be like another way of doing it. You know, they've only got X number, but then you bring in an extra bunch of people when it gets to halfway to, you know, to keep the defenders off foot. So they send people to reinforce, but it's not enough. Wow, this heavy assault's really going for it. No, he's not. You up to?
I am currently heading back up north. I'm sorry, I'm heading back down south to the Tumas area and Aramax Chemical. They seem to have moved a large number of forces. Connery did down to the far south. That's where I'm heading. So again, they had to wait out that 4-minute capture at Barrack, and now they seem to be moving at least a platoon forward here to Aramax Chemical Corporation or Company. I just saw Bale Valkyrie. This is, oh, that was a beautiful Valkyrie. Who are you? That was a Bob moment right there. Oh, he got his beacon up, so he used the ejection suit Valkyrie to drop on the point tower of Aramax Chemical Company, got his beacon down. It doesn't matter that he died in the process, and now you have his entire squad who's coming in Steel Rain style right onto the point. Unfortunately, I didn't get his outfit tag. This is the cooperative, actually, it looks like. You know, I've seen the Emerald guys seem to move people around a lot. It's the same outfits in the same spots here for Connery. This is DPSO and Wybach, and I think there's somebody else here, but I don't know who it is. That's interesting. I wonder, it's a question I'll have to ask, if Emerald was a little more free with moving their people around than Connery was.
Watching a Harasser-Liberator duel. I can't see it's going to end well for the Harassers.
It seems like Emerald has decided to push hard for the Ascent. That's where they've moved to.
Oh yes, excellent. That's what I want to see. They're taking the Alpha point now. Most of the Connery forces are still in the tower. Oh, we've got an Emerald Valkyrie. I've only seen a Connery one so far. He's a little bit beat up with his health, so he's looking to get some repairs.
Now this was a very interesting resecure here by the Cooperative and perhaps another outfit at Aramax Chemical. They did not come from the spawn rooms, as best I could tell. That was beacon drops from the Suicide Valkyrie, and they brought in a Galaxy to drop people on here, and now they're wiping things up again. So that was not the Send Everybody team.